May I please take this opportunity to invite Mr. Karthik Kanagaraj, Executive Vice President, BIU and CEO Office, ICICI Prudential Life, and Mr. Amit Roy, Partner, PwC. Let's welcome them, please.
Good afternoon and welcome, Karthik.
Thank you so much.
Glad that we are here after a very eminent panel's discussion. And maybe I'll pick up something on what the discussion was going on. For about last 7 days, I was in Europe, and 3 days down the line, you start feeling a little jaded with the continental food. And I was talking to my family that probably in the evening I'll go out and search out for dal chawal kind of this thing. And lo behold, I put down the phone, and the phone shows, the next thing that I see is that notification on my Facebook. And I see that Uber Eats popping up Indian restaurants. And, I'm sure all of you would have seen that. And if I go to Chennai, Karthik, my friend, is from Chennai. And the moment I land to Chennai and I start talking about something related to Karthik, the phone throws photograph that probably Karthik and I would have. Again, you feel a little creepy, but you don't mind, right? And I think I'll pick up the discussion that Mr. Mahapatra brought on table is that as a customer, as a provider of data, how much of consent you are providing, probably that's not known, but that's something that's throwing plethora of opportunity in the world of artificial intelligence. It's an intelligent world with intelligent customers, Gen Z out there, and who complains as long as you get simplification, as long as you get customized product. So Karthik, in insurance, coming from a leading life insurance company, how is the life changing for the customers? What are the areas in which you see you are using really artificial intelligence for businesses?
Thanks, Amit. So, in life insurance and particularly customer side, there are a lot of things which are getting changed. Okay, there are two things which is happening. One is that how the business is getting promoted, how the customers are being approached by the insurance companies.
Right.
There are a lot of AI and ML basically is playing a role.
Right.
And also improving the customer's experience. Okay, you are buying the life insurance product, that's the first time you are buying it, but after that there is a journey. The customer stays with us for 10 years, sometimes even 30, 40 years. It's a long-term contract.
Yeah.
So how does that, a customer experiences the company and the services what provide? There also there's a lot of AI, ML, involvement is there. How it is shaping that experience of the customer is there. So let me give an example. For instance, today, you have accounts in your bank. All of us will have some banking account. How does bank actually, can leverage and identify the right set of customer whom you want to sell a life insurance? You don't want to get badgered to everybody. You don't want to reach out to everybody and then say that you want to buy. How do you do that? You first want to understand the customer. You want to understand, whether this person has a need for a life insurance at this point of time, and then you basically reach out. How that happens? That happens through AML modeling. An example is that you have a 1 crore loan, for instance. Mm-hmm. Okay, the first thing you need to do is that you have to cover that liability, because if the customer is no more, the loan becomes due, right? Your family is uncovered, it's not protected, right? But if you have a cover, a life cover taking that 1 crore, then obviously you have that money being paid by the life insurance company, and then it gets. So this kind of very intelligent targeting, right, of a cross sell of a product today. Most of the banks actually deploy life insurance, ML models, and these models obviously has been collaboratively developed by the life insurance companies and the partners, because the life insurance side, they understand the customer better from the LI side, and the banks know their customer behavior, and then you kind of develop a model.
So the data that you are using, that's with the consent of the customer, right?
Yes.
That's something.
Yes.
And what you are talking about is probably customizing the product the way the customer wants.
Exactly that.
And anything about the onboarding journey, because one of the things that I keep hearing from the customers in all the analyst panels everywhere that I go, It's quite a boring stuff, to write those, 36 questions, 60 questions, a long format, irrespective of the fact that maybe I was banking with that bank for ages. But when it comes to taking a life insurance policy from Karthik, why is that it is not intuitively, 4 ticks and you are saying yes or no to Amit?
Yeah, exactly. So let's imagine this situation. If you are buying a mutual fund today, okay, most probably you select a fund and you are done with it in maybe 60 seconds, right? You don't require more than that.
True.
But if you want to buy a life insurance, it goes through a whole journey. Right, the journey itself may be taking 5 minutes, and then of course underwriting the policy, and then of course issuing the policy. It is anywhere between 48 hours or maybe 10 days or 15 days also. So there's a big difference in terms of how the journey is happening. So
Correct.
I want to illustrate now how AI can play a role in making this like maybe instant issuance. Maybe you are sitting with an agent or you're sitting with your relationship manager. He is talking about a particular product. You are okay to buy it, and you fill it up, and then immediately within 5 minutes or within 2 minutes you get a policy issued. Is it possible? Is it current process, human enabled process? Is it possible? It's not possible. But with AI and ML, it is possible. So let me put a structure to this. How is it possible? So for underwriting a life insurance policy, you require 3-4 things. First is your KYC. You need to know who's your customer is. Okay. Then you need to know his health status in terms of identifying what is his health outlook is. Little bit of income you want to identify, and then of course some specified risk models you want to run to understand the risk profile of the customer. These are the 4 pillars based on which you will do it. So currently, how is it happening? Currently, you will upload your documents, let's say an Aadhaar card or a PAN card and address proof. Okay, then it goes and a photo, KYC. It goes to a underwriter. So he pulls out all this and verifies it manually, saying that this photo and this Aadhaar card is matching. The address that is there in the Aadhaar card is matching with the application which has been filled up. So it is manually done, right? The second step for the income, you have to put some income proof into the system. Then the person actually pulls out that income proof and actually verifies it. If you say validation. If you say my salary 50,000 credited, then I'll ask for the bank account statement. Then I'll verify whether in the bank account I'm seeing that money or not.
True.
That's the second step. Then the third step, you declare medical questions. Then if I'm not okay, if your BMI is not okay, then I'll ask for a medical requirement, right? I'm not predicting your BMI. And then of course some risk-based assessment is also happening. So this entire process is what is kind of taking time, and then you are doing it. Now how do you transform this with AI, right? Now for instance, KYC. It's possible to build an automated KYC process. For instance, if you put your Aadhaar number, you pre-populate your application. Right. It is possible today. We have enabled it in our customers, where you put your Aadhaar number and you do the OTP based authentication. Customer is giving consent, then the form is pre-filled. Then the Aadhaar photo is there, ID is there, address proof is there. It can be matched with the application number. The photo, the named entity can be extracted and the photo can be matched, and the KYC is passed. So there's no human intervention here. Only if it is not passing properly, then you send it to a human. Otherwise, it's okay. Now, the second bit is health, for instance. You want to understand the health of the customer. Suppose if you ask for the customer to take a 30-second video and give you that, right? Using the liveliness of that video and also the models what we can be built, and BMI can be predicted for that customer.
Facial
underwriting, basically. Okay. Based on that, you can predict the BMI. And particularly in savings product, you don't require too much of an sum assured based underwriting.
So I have a question here. You are talking about using surrogates. You are
income
probably
surrogates.
going to touch upon my CIBIL,
Yes.
my income tax portal and all of that when Bima Sugam comes, right? So my question is again the point that we were discussing earlier is how much of consent I am giving for that.
Yeah.
Is this something which is taken for granted, or you will ask for specific consent from the customer saying that this will be personalized, your journey will be special?
Yeah. So in this place, there are 2 things we should look at it. One is that most of the ecosystem data today, the India stack, the ecosystem data which is available. So what are this ecosystem data available? You can get EPFO data of a customer. You can get the CAS, the account statement from the MF. You can get that. You can get GST and filing, for instance. All of these are consent based. the customer have to give the consent.
Absolutely.
Our Vahan data, for instance, you want to understand the customer profile by the vehicle he is driving, but if you have the consent of the customer, you can also understand the IDV which is available for the customer. So all these are consent based. So the customer is is in complete control of knowing what data is sharing and for what purpose. The company is asking it to determine your, predict your income. That's one option you have, and you are not comfortable with it, then obviously you can submit your
On a lighter note, India is a country where, I'm told that in Nehru Place, you go and pay 10,000, you can get any data, any income proof, any credit card transactions and all of that.
Yeah.
So probably for the first time, I see that India data is getting monetized. So from the cost benefit perspective, the use of data, AI, and now the generative AI, is this something that you are really deriving P&L effect on your business?
Yes. There can be huge P&L impact by using ML and AI in this thing. We are experiencing that, for instance. So I spoke about how specific targeting, a customized targeting is possible with a partner. Even our existing customers, it is possible. And our sales, almost 10 to 15% of our sales are coming through, this kind of ML-enabled, targeting. And that's a big amount. It's like 10-15% of our overall sales is coming from this kind of a targeted approach. That is one. The second thing is from a customer point of view, because there should be something for the customer also. If you use intelligent, pre-underwriting and then approach the customer, your issuance timelines and also the issuance rate. If there are 100 people applying for life insurance today, protection policy, maybe for 50 of them get actually finally underwritten and issued, and 50 kind of goes away. But if you are pre-underwriting it and going, then this percentage moves up to 90%. So there's hardly any fall off which is happening, which is as good as, let's say, any asset selling which bank is doing. Like you'll have a 75 to 80% kind of an approval rate.
So broadly
this is
from the business side, I am getting it. Again, from batting from the customer side. Let's say two of the major areas are claim. I think if you ask the auditorium out here, most of the people will say insurance claim experience is patchy, irrespective of the fact that you and I know it's one of the best in the world, India. Actually, we should clap for Indian insurer, the way they settle the claims. The way the COVID claims were settled is unimaginable. Because I study, insurance claim processes across the world. Is really, really good. But claim and grievance, on that, do you see artificial intelligence playing a role?
In fact, I'll pick up 3 areas. One is grievances. Then there is one more in claims, and one more area I just want to add, which is the persistency and the renewal part of it.
Correct.
Because as I said, insurance is a long-term business. We are talking about 20 years, 30 years kind of a time period. So here, a customer continuously paying renewal premium is very important. If it is not being paid, then it's a customer who's actually getting affected. For instance, in traditional products, the customer surrender values are still pretty low. So you don't get back too much of a money. So how can AI play a role in it? Imagine if you're talking to a customer, okay, if you have an intelligence coming from a AI saying that, okay, this customer probability of he continuing renewing the policy is low. Okay, that information is available right at the beginning of sourcing the policy. Then what happens? You don't leave it just to the seller. Then you ask your team lead to interact with the customer as a process, as a structured process. Once you get this information, then you are asking the team lead to actually talk to the customer to explain him. This is not a 1-year product. This is a 5-year product, 10-year product. You have to pay premium every year this much. If you don't pay the premium, these are the things, and submit a report back to the company saying that okay, I've spoken to this customer and this is what he said, and then you start processing the thing. What you achieved by this is that it is a 4-eye concept. It's not 2 people who are looking at it, one person not looking at it, 2 people are looking at it, and you are actually giving a comfort to the customer and explaining him what is happening. So if he wants to change the product or something, he can do that. So that's a beneficial to the customer, so that you don't get the persistency thing coming through.
I need one 10-second answer from you quickly, and this is something that I am sure $1 billion question from everyone sitting on the room. With artificial intelligence, will the cost of insurance go down?
See, eventually it will go down. I'll tell you also how it will go down. One of the premium is what? Premium is what you are paying for, how you assess the risk, right? So if I'm expecting 10 deaths out of 10,000, okay, I'm putting a premium of X. tomorrow if I get 15 deaths out of 10,000 because my underwriting, my risk assessment is not not up to the mark, up to the expectation what I had, obviously the premiums will go up. Okay, but if instead of 10 deaths I get only 8 deaths out of 10,000, of course the company will make there is little more surplus which is there. That surplus will eventually reflect as a lesser premium what is there in the thing. You can see that very obviously in the group, for instance, group sales, in group term where the organizations take the thing. So you will see that
there has been improvements.
Yeah, there's been huge improvements. During COVID time, the premiums were higher. All companies across the industry, the premiums were higher because there were a lot of COVID is happening. But when that is subsidized, the premiums have really come down. So now if you are GT, you can see that the premiums have come down. So it is directly, it is there. And how it gets done, if you have the AI to help you to, ML to help you to understand the risk better, then eventually the customer will get the benefit.
I think that's a damn good news, and probably will conclude with that. I must say that, the way you presented artificial intelligence and generative AI to the audience is almost like Aladdin's lamp and the generative AI probably is the genie coming together to have better experience in insurance. Thank you so much, Karthik. And we'll hand it back to the MC.